See, when I got involved in this industry over a decade ago, I had a pretty good job. I was going to a great college. I had my future lined up for me. But what I did understand that if I didn't change the things that I was doing in my life from the way my parents or my grandparents did, or everyone else I was watching, if I didn't change what I was doing from what they were doing, I was going to get the same results. See, I understood early on for my life to change, I had to change. And I started teaching that concept, and I started seeing how people started to change their life. See, but most people fear change and they run from change because they don't understand it. To make the future course of something different than it is or what it would be if left alone. That's the definition of change, to make the future course of something different. So you got to think about your situation right now. How many of you, if you could just adjust your situation, would like to change the future course of it? How many of you would like that? A lot of people, right? Who wouldn't? I mean, who doesn't want to live a better life? Drive a better car, live in a better home, have a better family, have better health, have better relationships. Who doesn't want to live that way? So if you can position yourself to change, then why not? See, people look at Elite Profit Network and they may say, hey, you know what? Man, that looks like a great company. You guys have a great philosophy. The comp plan looks good, but I really don't know if that's me. I really don't know. Let me tell you why I totally believe Elite Profit Network will become one of the largest companies within the network marketing industry. And I talked about this initially when we started the company. And I talked about how I believe Elite Profit Network is going to completely change the game within the network marketing industry. See, in every industry, every so often, every 1 or 2 decades, a company comes along and changes the landscape of what's going on in that particular industry. So when you think back to the 1940s, you had 2 brothers with the last name McDaniel. And they had an idea that they were going to serve food a little bit differently than all the other restaurants. They introduced this concept called fast food. And everybody said, man, they are crazy. That's never going to happen. These guys quit their jobs. They were chefs. They were investors. They gave up everything in this idea and the concept because they had a belief that this was going to work. People laughed at it. But if you look at McDonald's today, wouldn't you agree that that decision, that belief, that tenacity, that ambition paid off?
Yes.
Not only for them, but think about how many lives have been changed financially as a result of that idea. Many people can be grateful to McDonald's. And then many people might have a problem because, I got about 10 or 15 extra pounds because of McDonald's. But wouldn't you agree that McDonald's changed the game in the restaurant industry? In the early 80s, a guy by the name of Sam Walton had an idea of a department store that would not only offer a few items, but eventually offer everything someone needed at an affordable cost. He would pay near the cost it would cost him to get it and then sell it, but he believed in volume he will make it up and eventually change lives because of this company. People said, Sam, you are crazy. They said, how are you going to compete with all these other stores? It was even a department store called Kmart. They were laughing at Sam. But today, who has the last laugh? Sam laughing from the grave. Right. Walmart completely changed the game. Just a little bit more than a decade ago, you had 2 college guys. They coined the phrase Google guys. And they said they were going to create a search engine, an internet based company that's going to be one day bigger than something that we knew of called AOL. Anybody remember? You got mail. Who would have ever thought that something is going to come along and exceed AOL? You ask teenagers today, have you ever heard of America Online? They're like, what? American Idol? They don't know about it. Because Google came along and changed the game. See, I could go on and on about different companies, about different visionaries, about different leaders that came along and stuff that people were, had their traditional ways of doing things and thinking that totally changed the landscape of how everything worked and lives would change. See, over the last 2 decades, network marketing has been one of the hottest things, in the entire world. It has changed, millions of people's lives. And I'm blessed and fortunate to say I am one of those success stories. Mr. Friendly can say the same thing. Mr. Friendly can say the same thing. And other people you talk, they can say the same thing. But I can tell you that somewhere along the line, someone in some company is going to come along and do something a little bit differently that's going to change the way people think and see that industry, and it's going to take it to a whole different level. And I totally believe that's what we're doing here with the Elite Profit Network. I totally see that. EPN will change the game. See, but what I want to share with everyone who's here this evening, whether you come along with us or not, it doesn't matter, because my job is to share some information with you. But the bottom line is, if you want to win at life, you got to change your own game. No matter what happens here tonight, you got to be able to change yourself internally if you want a change in your results.